Hi guys, welcome back to the range. I'm here with the Crosman Premiers today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how they're working for me. I got 2 bad tins of these things. Last weekend I displayed my frustration a little bit in my videos there. I came to the conclusion that there was just 2 bad tins. I shot the rest of those tins all week long at my house. It's in that 30 to 50 yard range, mostly 50. And I just couldn't get them to do anything. I shot everything from 710 feet per second to about that 1070, where I'm usually kind of keeping them. And most of the time I was right around a 970. And I actually got the gun working pretty good. I played with regulator pressures from 50 all the way up to 110 with the Premiers, just trying different hammer springs and different valve adjustments and things. And the reason I'm doing that, it seems like people probably think this is a waste of time, because you can just go to like a factory setting and you can just shoot the speeds that everybody else tells you to shoot. But that's not how I work. I'm not a sheep. I don't go with the flow. I understand that those are good starting points and that people can start there, and maybe that is the best place. But I'm not a guy who settles for what everybody else thinks is right. I explore, and I might come back to that place. You know, sometimes in life that makes things a waste of time for me. That's what I like to do, and that's what my head likes to do, and so that's where I'm at with it. So with these Premiers, I've been really tinkering with them a lot. And because it's one of the only pellets that's available to me outside of mail order, and they are really cheap, and I do plan, and I am shooting a lot, and I do plan on shooting even more, I would like to shoot them, and I would like to find a happy place where they shoot really, really well, really consistently. I haven't really found that place. Yeah, it probably would be better to go just buy some JSBs and just shoot Hades. If you pay $15 for a tin of Hades pellets or something like that, and you shoot 3 tins of $8 Premiers, and none of them shoot very good, that's not a good deal. And I realize that, but I'm having fun shooting, and I'm learning the gun at the same time, so I don't feel like it's a loss or a waste, if that makes sense. Normally, if I wasn't shooting as much as I am, and I wasn't trying to learn the gun and tinker with it and really understand how all this stuff works perfectly, I would just go buy JSBs. So if that's you, and you're just buying an FX and you want it to shoot, or any gun and you just want it to shoot, just go buy one of those really good pellets that has a really good reputation, you know, a Hades, or, you know, an 18 heavy, or a 16 dome or whatever, and just shoot those. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But if you like to tinker and you like to screw around and it's your hobby and you don't do anything else and this is what you do and you just want to screw around with it, well then that's where I'm at with it. Got these shooting pretty good, like I said, at the house at 970 feet per second, but that's at 50 yards. It's not super consistent. Sometimes I can shoot a half-inch group, not very often because those tins of pellets were bad, but it'll shoot like 4 or 5, your standard YouTuber group, really good, and then the next 30 of them won't be that great, and then it'll shoot another 5 perfectly, and they'll shoot 3 perfectly, and 1 2-inch flyer, and then 2 or 3 more perfectly, like stack them on top of each other, and then a flyer. And so I'm really trying to understand if and where I can find that sweet spot with these pellets. So I came up here to the range, and because of the difference in my house and where I shoot up here, I was shooting a 970 at my house, at like basically perfectly 970 at my house when I left there, or last night when I finished shooting. I got up here and the gun was shooting 920, and then about 5 shots in, it bumped up into that 930 range. So I started clicking around and I got it to 970 again, and it still wasn't shooting well at 970. At the 65 yards that I'm shooting right now, I have a laser rangefinder for it, doing like 2.5-inch groups at 65 yards. That's not acceptable, and I know it can shoot better because I've shot a lot better than that. I've shot better than that at 75, 80 yards. I started to pump the regulator up, and I landed on an accidental spot. I thought bumping the regulator where I bumped it to, which I think at the time was 90, was going to get me back to that 1070 range on the Premiers. It didn't. It landed me right on 1035. It was 1030 to 1035. I'm going to go back a little bit. I started a new tin of pellets, which I think I forgot to mention because this is actually the second time I've made this video. This tin's shooting a lot better than the last one, the last 2, but there's still a lot of stuff on the skirts. There's a lot of debris on them. It's debris that you would have to like pick off, stuck on there like the knives on the dies or something, or the edges or whatever, where they're cutting them were dull, and it's leaving stuff on there. These are, like I said, are a lot better than the last tin. So my theory is that when you start getting these things up into the faster speeds, for me, I've had way more consistent results over 1,000 feet per second with these things, and specifically quite a bit above 1,000 feet per second with these things. 1035, my first group at 1035 was like maybe 3/4 of an inch with like one flyer. And I'm suspecting that those higher pressures and like the pop in the chamber, or when it's coming out the end of the barrel and it's faster, and maybe it does have some disturbance behind it, it's maybe ripping the debris off of those skirts and making the pellets fly better, where at the lower pressures and the more soft gun, it's not blowing the debris off, and those skirts are spitting them all over the place. Because every time I shoot these things faster, and I'm talking like quite a bit faster, they shoot consistently better. They might not always group as tight, but they always shoot like this little, and you've seen in my other videos, let's say this 1.5 inch shotgun group. At 50 yards or 75 yards, I can tolerate that as like a hunting pellet. If you were shooting rats or birds or, you know, squirrels or something like that, that's completely acceptable. And you can push them at these really fast speeds. We're talking 30 to 40 foot-pounds out of Crosman Premiers out of this gun with squirrel and rat accuracy. How people can hate on that, I'm not really sure. I mean, unless you want to buy more expensive pellets, but for what I'm doing is my point is I'm completely fine with that, and I know they can do better. So at 1035, that when I accidentally landed on that speed today, it shot really, really good. Since this is a new tin of pellets and there's 500 of them in there, so I can test a lot with this one little tin. Bumped the regulator back up, and I am at 95. It's at 97 because it's been sitting, but 95. I shot at 1070, and it shot good at 1070 again. It might be a little bit better at 1035, but that's what I'm going to continue testing today. 1035 and 1075 is kind of my little bit better sweet spot. I forgot to say that. Once again, made this video twice now. Can't remember what I said in the last one. 1035 and 1075 are the sweet spots that I've been finding with these Premiers, and these ones have lots of crap on the skirts. I did not think they were going to shoot very well. I was really disappointed when I opened it up and I saw that stuff. So my point is, I'm looking for this magical spot that I can consistently go to Walmart and grab any of these tins, and if I get a good one or a bad one, I want that speed where these things will always shoot maybe that like 1.5 inch shotgun group, no matter if I get a good batch or a bad batch. I don't want to be trying to figure out batching for these things. Well, this is not the correct tin. I don't think it says any batch numbers or anything on those Walmart tins anyway. I know that they're not Walmart pellets. Yes, I get it. But they're the ones that are sold at Walmart, and I don't believe they have any batch numbers on them. I've never seen them. It's not on the inside. There's only a barcode on the outside. So if somebody knows, maybe there's some faded ink on there somewhere. I'm not going to look for them anyway. They're locked up in a case, and you have to have a guy come over and take them out of the case for you with keys. So it's not like you're going to sit there and sort through and look through and try and find batches or whatever. I'm looking for off the shelf, the perfect speed or speeds to shoot these things at, where if I get a batch of them and they shoot like crap, I'm just going to crank it to 1070 and watch the group tighten up. And then say I get a batch and it's maybe not shooting perfectly at 1070 and it looks like the skirts are cleaner or something, I roll it back to 970 and they shoot really great. Or I go to 850, which is another spot that I sort of found when I was playing with low reg pressures that shot really well. 820, 830 didn't. 870 I don't think did, but like that, like 845 to 855 or something like that. But I want to think it was pretty much right at 850. Shot really pretty well. But around it, you could see them hook or spiral or whatever the terminology you're looking for. So I want to be able to find like a couple little sweet spots. So when I grab an off the shelf pellet, if it's shooting crappy, I'll just dial it back to one of those 3 speeds and it'll shoot really good. So I'm going to demonstrate some groups for you now, and hope you're not too bored to tears yet. Kind of a pain in the ass to do, but just so you guys can see, that's that spinner we were shooting at, 66 yards. 63 to 65, and then out to the gong, 99, 100, 90, 99, and 30, that would be the background. 111. So you guys get the point. I suspect I'm dealing with wind conditions that I don't understand how much it affects air guns. Let's go up, print in the middle.
1,033. 1,034. 1,030. 1,039. 1,035. 1,029. 1,034.
All right, there you have it. Now you can see the wind kicking in the background. 1,035. You watched that with your own eyes until I ran out. All right, we're reloaded. Let's let her fly.
1,033. 1,028. 1,037. 1,030. 1,030. 1,033. 1,034. 1,034. 1,035. 1,030. 1,030. 1,038. 1,032. 1,040. 1,035.
It's going to be a double feed.
1,037. 1,035. 1,037. 1,033. 1,035. 1,034. 1,034. 1,038. 1,038. 1,026.
All right, what you guys just watched was an entire 28 round magazine plus those like 5 or whatever that we shot before. That's on that 4-inch spinner at 66 yards that you saw on the rangefinder. So we can call that probably a 3.5-inch group up and down, left and right, because if it's 4 inches across, 66 yards. And you saw how fast those were coming out of the gun. And this is a pretty big plenum to be refilling fast enough to do that. And I'm sitting at 95 bar. 1,032 average, standard deviation 3.6, extreme spread was 18. And you can see and hear the wind, right? So, yeah, maybe you can't see it as well as I thought, but you can hear it. Are the Crosman Premiers that bad? You know, whatever. 3-inch group, 66 yards, in a who knows how many mile-an-hour wind, rain. All right, guys, let's take the Premiers out to 100 at 1,030, 1,035, which is kind of what's been shooting the best for me today. We're going to aim for the little red dot there in the middle. That's about a 3/4 inch dot, if I remember. And there's about a 3-inch little circle with the logo for the frying pan. And we're going to send it in there. So we're at 61 for our hold. Ooh, that one just ground through. This one probably won't get anywhere.
1,000.
Oh, crap. We almost bullseyed. Damn near bullseyed with that one that ground itself into the chamber. It's about 10 miles an hour right now.
1,028.
I didn't see that one. All right, so here's the frying pan group. There's my thumbnail. Those were all those Premiers you saw. And so here's where they were shooting at first. And then once I got it dialed, and then I think the wind started maybe blowing down here in the little valley thing. So we started seeing them printing here. And we probably couldn't see these ones because they were covered up by that other plate that was at the different yardage. But there's a Premier that I shot at the same 100 yards to get my 0 dialed in, and I literally stuck it right in that probably 1.25 inch red dot. So they'll make it there. Let's go back to 65 with this 1070, and we'll go down here on the plate.
1,074. 1,074. 1,070. 1,075. 1,078. 1,000.
Look at that group in that little corner. That was just barely over it.
1,075. 1,071. 1,075. 1,073. 1,075. 1,075. 1,076. 1,075. 1,071.
All right, that's enough for me to display that. You see that group right there? 1,075. I was shooting kind of the normal speed that I shoot, so maybe that's the plenum filling correctly. You can hear how hard the wind's blowing. Like it's blowing, and it'll print that kind of group. That is under 1/2 inch, but we can't call it a 1/2 inch group because it spit these little ones in here too, and we had one that maybe 2 or something like that that went just over the edge. That's the kind of accuracy I'm getting at 1070, 1035, and sometimes 970. That, you know, little sub 1/2 inch group, and that's 65 yards. And I would show you with the laser rangefinder if it wasn't such a pain in the ass to try and look through the camera with it. So this is for you guys that think I'm fudging the group size. This is that 1070 group right there. That was my hold point. So it shot these and it shot those, and it had those couple that flew right over the top here. But that's my index finger nail. Can't quite get it covered with a dime, but it's pretty close. So there you go, guys. Try the Premiers. Let me know how they work for you. Try them at 1,035. Try them at 1,070, 1,075. Try them at 970. Those 3 spots had good success with. I'm using a 700 millimeter barrel. This is a 1 in 24 twist, which is the stock FX barrel. I did switch back to the pellet transfer port. I was feeling like the gun shot a little bit better. Can't say whether it does or not, but I'm going to be shooting lighter stuff, so I figured that pellet transfer port might be a little bit better, and it seems to be shooting pretty good. I'm not shooting slugs. We'll use the pellet transfer port. There we go. I got to quit shooting on rock walls, though. My gun is getting banged up. These things are razor sharp. These are Hawaiian lava rocks, and it's not good. It is what it is. I don't have a fancy bench. I have limited resources out here in the jungle, and I ride a motorcycle, so I can't carry building supplies. All right, you guys. Take care.
5 hours later.